Since nobody's out here but you and I, and we are spaced properly, could I get you to take off your mask, please?
Yes, sir.
Okay, man, you have a special interest, and it inspires the heck out of me to see young people with ideas that they are willing to push for purpose. What's this idea you have now that is eating at you?
Well, recently on Tuskegee Virtual, I witnessed the head basketball coach reach out and explain that he and the students needed help just to carry out the basics of their season coming up starting November 10th. And being that I played basketball 4 years of my life, varsity basketball at Crenshaw High School in Los Angeles, California, also went on to college to play, Texas Southern University. It kind of touched my heart to see that a lot of schools in rural areas, they have help, there is help, and we need to get them help. To me, there's no way possible that we aren't coming together to help such a thing, and at the end of the day, this is our future.
So what school are we interested in here?
We're talking about Booker T. Washington High School, the only high school in Tuskegee.
Man, with a name like that, they ought to have help coming from everywhere, wouldn't you think?
I definitely agree.
So what do you sense to be their biggest need now, and who is it needed from?
I personally feel like their biggest need is help from the community. It's not a huge monetary situation, but if we all come together, then they can get the help that they need. They can comfortably go through their season that they want to go through. They can win championships for us, and they can attract more and more students to come to the high school here.
And you say the coach made this appeal at the city council meeting?
Yes, sir.
And I haven't seen it yet. What was his major concern or desire from the community?
His major concern that he spoke of with the facts that COVID-19 has had a tremendous effect on any and everyone here in Tuskegee and all over the world. Their main concern is that this season they won't be able to gain the funds that they normally gain during a regular season in order to proceed with the season. And then COVID-19 has added some extra hurdles to jump over, such as each student or each student athlete has to have their own water bottle, they have to have their own towels, they have to have their own jerseys. Normally, you know, back in the day, without certain funding, the varsity and the JV share jerseys, or they share warm-ups. They cannot share warm-ups this year. This goes for girls and boys, junior varsity and varsity. Feeding the kids, making sure they stay hydrated during games, and making sure that they're as comfortable as they can be to be great student athletes and proceed on into the future, and to make Tuskegee proud.
So now, you was a sportster through high school and college. Can you imagine what it makes an athlete feel like to not have the proper equipment, or to not have the community and the world showing some interest in what it is that they're out there doing?
It is absolutely a big self-esteem dropper. Growing up as a student athlete, the support you get, the facilities you practice or you work in, the environment you're in, the energy you have around you, all plays a huge part. There's a fact that certain students, or there's been a decline nationwide. There's a decline in student numbers when it comes to the way the facilities or the energy is present at the school. It declines. They move on to different schools, or they go to schools, they get different addresses, they go to schools that are not even in their district. It happens on the West Coast, it happens on the East Coast, it happens in the South. It's very adamant, or it's a huge impact on a student athlete's self-esteem. If I don't have a community behind me, if I don't have a packed gym, or it doesn't necessarily have to be a packed gym, but if I don't have somebody in my community to pat me on the back and say, great job, I don't get enthused to get out and do my best. there's a lot of great athletes here in Tuskegee. There's a lot of great student athletes here in Tuskegee. We're losing them slowly but surely to the surrounding cities or to the surrounding schools just because of the environment that we have our students in at the moment.
Well, as an athlete now and having been touched by that video, what do you see that this community could do internally as well as outreach to help this situation to bring our sports program up to A1 condition?
Okay, first, I don't even want to label it as an A1 or A2. It's just conditions, period, and energy, period. We can all come together, even if it's just morale support. That could be the biggest thing to help these kids change their mindsets as far as what they want to do as they're going through school or going through high school. One of the other things that I feel like is needed is support. The internet is a huge, huge, huge player in the way we support each other nowadays. And it could be, you don't have to always pull money out of your pockets. It could be a simple like or share to where the next person next to you, or your neighbor or your friend, whether it be here in Tuskegee or across the nation, we have to get word out that we need help. If we don't get the word out that we need help, then we're hindering ourselves.
But it takes money to do the kind of things that a coach has to do to pull that team into top-notch shape, though, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. But at the same time, it isn't always monetarily an issue. Certain companies will donate the things that we need as a team or a sports program. Certain community members will donate different things that we need, or certain business owners will donate different things that we need. But yes, it definitely takes money to get to the places that we want to go. My thing is, we don't have to always rely on ourselves. If we open up our mouths, or as my great-grandmother used to say, closed mouths don't get fed. At the present moment, there's no one opened up their mouth besides the basketball coach, which came to the city council meeting to finally open up and say, hey, we need some help. So now, after I saw that, my cry is out.
Why did you care? Reach down into your soul, not a surface response, but reach down in yourself and tell me why that appeal to the city council by the coach stimulated your interest.
Well, for one, I'm a father. I'm a young father. I have one son and another one on the way due in November. I recently moved to Tuskegee, bought property here, and invested myself into Tuskegee. And there's no way that I can say that I want my son to go to that school in the current conditions that it's in. That's my number one priority, is our future. The kids are our future. Tuskegee will not continue without us investing into the youth or us investing into our future. There's no way we can move forward, or there's no way we can grow as a city. We'll always be in the same place. And my goal is to help us grow.
Okay, your interest was sparked. Now, what do you need from this community to help to enhance your ability to pull this off, to make that sports program a better program?
I would love for us to start right here in our own community, for us all to knock down any mental blocks that we have, and we just all come together. If we all come together and get on the same page to establish a program that will help all of the sports program, and not just the sports, but the academics of the high school as well too, we'll produce great student athletes. We'll create great humans to go out into the world and represent Tuskegee as a whole.
Okay, so I'm going to get this out as first phase from you. And I want you to depend on me to get whatever other phases you developed that can enhance that program and resolve that problem. And I'll be on your team to help get it out. How is that?
I definitely appreciate it, and I appreciate anyone else who would love to step up and contribute any type of help that they have to help our students grow.
Okay, now, if people want to contact you to say, I like your idea, I want to help you, how can they do that?
You can contact me at any time on my phone number, which is 312-937-7987, or you can reach me in person, with the mask on, of course, at the Tusmac CDC, which is located 608 Dibble Street, Tuskegee, Alabama, right across the street from the credit union.
Okay, do you have a website yet?
We do not have a website yet. This is reaching out to Chief Frazier was my first cry out in order to get word out, but I am working on working with Dr. Brooks, who is the superintendent, and working with the head coach of Booker T. Washington High School to establish a program to help the school.
Now, a lot of people are familiar with booster clubs, and this is your idea is similar to a booster program for the sports program. Is that right?
Yes, sir. Technically speaking, when it comes to a booster program, booster programs rely on the community. They rely on parents. They rely on anyone concerned about the future of our youth. And every year it changes faces, but it doesn't change program. If we can establish a booster club for all of the sports programs and academic programs here at Booker T. Washington High School, we should have no problem growing and receiving help from anyone across the nation or across the world for that matter, because Tuskegee has such rich history here that people want to invest into. The name alone, Booker T. Washington High School, is huge.
And the name Tuskegee is huge.
The name Tuskegee is even bigger in my opinion, because Mr. Washington came here for that reason.
Absolutely. Okay then, well, I will team with you to do whatever you need done to try to get the information out there for you.
I appreciate you, and I appreciate anyone else out there who would love to step up and help. Thank you.